All right, Chuck's Chat Week 10. I accidentally titled it Week 9 on the
I
email. It
also did
is
that.
Week 10
Oh,
in
it is week
college
10?
football. It is. It is Week 9 in the
Okay.
NFL, Week 10 in college football.
I thought I
It always screws me up.
mislabeled it because I always do that at some point in the season when I'm making my picks.
Yeah, which means that we have like 4 weeks left, and
then bowl season.
bowl season.
Some of us are hoping to be there.
Yes, we're all gonna be there.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, I saw.
I know I'll be there.
Fair. I saw your remaining schedule. That is tough.
It's not great. My over
I'll make
5.5 is not looking great.
Shit. What do you got, 3?
Yeah, we're we're at 3.
Okay.
Wait, should we have 4? No, yeah, we're 3 and 5. 3 and 5.
And you should have beat TCU or at least covered, but that's not.
I mean, we should have beat Pitt. We should have beat Kansas.
What?
We should have
beat. Shouldn't have beat Pitt.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. All right, we're not gonna get.
If you should have beat Pitt, then Pitt should have beat Tennessee. That's all I gotta say about that.
That's a fair argument. Then we would have beat Tennessee too.
If West Virginia should have beat Pitt, Pitt should be undefeated right now. Actually, 1 loss, Georgia Tech. There's no defense.
Shout out. Triple option.
Well, they fired their coach, so I mean, you can't help that.
Yeah, that's
true. Is your lock this week the fired coach game?
It is not.
The SEC. Okay.
It is not. I forgot about that game. Oh,
I saw that. I almost picked the other side of that game and then realized there was that game. It's not on my card, but I almost picked against it. But
heading into this, I thought that I'm thinking, hey, I feel like all 3 of us are gonna have the same lock. I have a weird feeling.
No,
there's a pick that I love. There's a pick that I really love.
Ferry.
We might then all. I know what Chuck's is, and he knows what mine is.
Ferry, if you were Auburn's AD, who would your first 3 calls be?
I would say Matt Rule.
He's also on my list.
Who's the governess of Cleveland? That almost became the Browns coach.
Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah.
Maybe her.
Okay.
Maybe her. She's a consideration.
Leader of men.
Maybe Hugh Freeze if you're just looking for fun.
That would be fun.
What's other
Meyer.
big name?
Urban Myers has to be on the list.
Yeah.
Pat Narduzzi.
Nard Dog.
Maybe.
I would call Dion.
Oh, I like that. That's. I mean, yeah.
That's something.
Okay. So last week went 9 and 5, won my lock. And when you pick locks and you say something's a lock, you dream of 48-0. So that felt good.
That's huge.
64, 53 and 1 on the season, 54.7%. Ben, how did you fare in week 9?
I went 8 and 9, lost my lock again. My locks this year have stunk. Total for the season 93 and 85. I'm starting to peak very down after my hot start. I'm just picking with my brain this week. Like, I'm just trusting my gut. I'm not trying to overthink things. 2 6 and 1 on locks also stinks. This week though, I think you're good on locks, and I think we're gonna have the same lock. So I think I'm gonna get a win in that column too.
What about you, Matthew? Yes. Yahoo.
That's I went 9 and 5, not bad. 1 and 0 on my locks, and then I'm battling back to 50%. I'm 51, 53.
Oh, fuck yeah. We're almost all above 50.
Yeah. And then 4 and 5 on my locks in the year. So, it's a battle back.
I'll let you pick first on your
hole.
card today, since we have the same record. It's the kind of guy I am.
That's tip of the cap right there.
Okay. All right. First game. I have these listed just in the order they came up on my phone, but I don't want to talk about Tennessee, Georgia first. I'd rather talk about Texas, Kansas State first. Kansas State is a 2.5 point home underdog in Manhattan. And I should have had this pulled up. Give me a second. Ferry, take it away though. The total.
Big 12 guy.
The total is 54.5.
54.5. You see, I understand a letdown spot is potential here for Kansas State after a huge win last week. And it also goes against all logic I feel like we usually have of why is Texas favorite in this game? But I'm gonna go against our usual logic because I have a hard time betting against Kansas State at home in night games in Manhattan. It's just tough. It's just tough to do for me. So I got to go Kansas State plus 2.5, despite it goes against what we usually think.
No, Ferry. Hook 'em. This Chuck, I think, is going to take Texas because he's also sharp. 2.5 point favorites on the road at night. After
I get
Kansas
it.
State
No, I get it.
blew the shit out of whoever they played last week.
Oklahoma State.
This is Texas.
Pokes.
My Heisman future, Bijan Robinson, expect him to have a big day. Real Heisman moment type of atmosphere. I think he's gonna have a big day.
Yeah,
Hook 'em.
it's not on my card, but I lean Texas for all the reasons that Ben said.
No, I totally get it. I understand why. I just
This was
I
one
just-
of my many almost
I
locks.
can't sleep at night knowing I go against a night game in Manhattan for a
Hook
ranked
'em.
Kansas State team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey, I got it. And awful bye. Texas is awful bye as well.
That hurts too.
All right, next game we'll do Tennessee at Georgia, the first number 1 versus number 2 in the AP poll to match up in the regular season since Ferry. Do you know what it was?
Was it? Don't tell me it was the field goal bowl, Bama LSU. Wow.
It was.
Oh wow, the 9 to
was.
6 game. Oh
Yes.
man,
First
Wow,
time.
it's been that long.
Yeah, which is kind of feels surprising as well. It's been that long. Who I guess Clemson was 1 when Bama and LSU played.
Yeah.
Or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were 2.
There were 2. Okay, so Tennessee coming in 8-point underdog. We discussed on the show last week that the look ahead was 11.5. So this thing's been beaten down a little bit. The total is 66. Ben, what do you think between the hedges here in Athens?
This
Georgia?
this is in Georgia. You probably I actually think Tennessee can play. I think the line's reading Georgia, but I think they're gonna lay it all out there. This is the biggest game of the season, probably. If they win this game, they're gonna be in the college football playoff. So I'm gonna lean Tennessee plus 8, keep it within a touchdown. This is biggest game, probably this and the Bama game are the 2 biggest games in the last 20 years. I think they come out for it. They made a statement last week, beating the shit out of Kentucky, and I respect them. So I'm gonna roll the number.
All right, Ferry, what do you think?
I want to take Tennessee. I like the story. It's good to see that good color orange in there. Better to see instead of seeing Bama, Georgia all the time. But we talked about it last week. We like Georgia at 11, 12. I'm going to like them at 8. They're at home. Tennessee, you see teams, you see it in college football and especially college basketball, but when they get that one spot, especially ones that aren't always there, they don't know what they get all, jittery and they're just kids. So, well, I guess Hendon Hooker's not a kid, but everyone else is still kids.
both of these quarterbacks are not kids.
Yeah, both quarterbacks aren't kids, but yeah, I feel like I gotta go with Georgia with 8 points.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I am probably gonna wait to bet Georgia, see if it can come down to 7. I feel like it won't, but we'll see. So Alabama closed as a 9.5 point favorite on the road in Knoxville. Probably not to take anything away from Tennessee. They were up 28-7, blew it, down 7 late. What's this spread if we don't have a pass interference in the end zone? That probably wasn't. Bama goes up double digits because they returned it all the way to the inside the 40.
Mm-hmm.
The rest is history, though. The flag was thrown. We have a goalpost in the river now because of it. Georgia, I was listening to a podcast earlier. Shout out to them. Georgia's defense has allowed 16 touchdowns the past 20 regular season games. The next closest team in the FBS has allowed 35. So they have a level of dominance on defense. It's hard for me to trust Tennessee's defense, so I will lean Georgia here. But if Tennessee, I almost feel like, and this is going to say, I hope this doesn't sound as dumb as the way that I say it, but it's almost like whoever scores first. And by that, I mean, you don't want to be chasing Tennessee's offense. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if they can get and build a lead, it's very difficult to catch a high-powered offense like that. And so that, being at home, Georgia's got that pedigree. I'll have to rock with them there. But if it doesn't come down to 7, I'll just Rob blow it and have a grand old time at 3:30.
That's
It
fair.
would be, by spread logic, Pitt would only be like a 12-point dog at Georgia.
You think so?
You'd imagine.
Like this,
That would be
like
max
Pitt in
play
week
on
10.
Georgia.
Yeah, Pitt in week 10 or Pitt in week 2.
Continue. So I just wanted to state that little
Um,
spread fact. We don't have to dwell on it.
Okay. The next game, staying in the SEC, Alabama traveling to LSU. Brian Kelly has played Alabama twice in his career. Both times did not go very well. Alabama is laying 13 on the road. Total is 56.5. Ben, you can start us off here.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw LSU was number 10 in the country. I'm not buying it. I'm gonna roll Bama minus 13.5. It's a nice little 2 touchdown number. I think they're just better. I've never really seen anything from LSU I've liked this year. I'm surprised beating Ole Miss has elevated them to 10. So I'll roll Bama to keep it strong, finish the year strong.
Ferry, what do you think?
I also lean Bama. I don't like what I've seen from LSU. I keep thinking that they stink, and then they just kind of winning here. But I don't like what I've seen from them. But I also like to see if if let's say Georgia goes up big early and Bama kind of sees that, they're like, all right, that's just a tiny extra more motivation. Not that they really need it, but that's going to help them get going a little bit if they see Georgia up big in the third quarter before the game starts. So I'm going to go Bama.
Yeah, I'm on Bama too. I don't really love any matchups for LSU. I think their offensive line can get overwhelmed by Alabama, and Tennessee threw all over them. Bama can also do the same thing. And I do think there is something to be said for Bama already playing at Neyland Stadium this year. They have for the guys who hadn't experienced a big time road game like that, this is now not going to shock the system.
For the night game at Baton Rouge.
Yeah, so they should be fine. And I'll bet on Bryce Young any day of the week. Love Bryce Young. Last game, Clemson going to South Bend, Indiana to take on the University of Notre Dame. A pretty much flat 3.5 across the board here. Some 4s out there. Total is 44. That has come down a bit. Ferry, you can lead us off.
I feel like we were together when the last time Clemson was at Notre Dame during the COVID year.
We were together.
That was a pretty, obviously we know that was a wild game. DJ looked like he was the next guy. Maybe he's not that guy. We keep going back and forth. It seems like every week, but nonetheless, I don't bet for Notre Dame, and so I'm going to take Clemson 3.5. But I really, really want to buy the hook to get it to 3. But for picks purposes, I'll leave it at 3.5.
Ben, what do you think?
With Ferry, this is DJ revenge game. First time back at Notre Dame. I think they're just a better team. Notre Dame's not really that good. They just keep it close with some teams and end up winning some of these games. So Sarah, good. Clemson minus 3.5.
My lock's in this game, so.
Oh, we don't have the same lock.
I guess we
So
do not.
Ferry and I might.
You guys might.
Oh.
And I'll know immediately based on whether or not Ferry reads this pick off or not. So Ferry, lead us off here.
So I'm going to start off with the Cum Bowl. I'm going to go with UConn minus 16.
Okay.
Just can't lay money with UMass. UConn's fighting for a bowl spot. They're at 4 and 5 right now, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very cool. I mean, that's just cool to say that UConn's going to be bowl eligible. Then I'm going to go with Ohio State first half. I love the narrative that Northwestern's only win is going to be against Nebraska across the pond. I think Ohio State keeps that rolling pretty easily, but not going to take full game. So just going to stick to the classic Ohio State first half. I refuse to even acknowledge Texas A&M, so I'm not going to say. I just want to say that. So that game's disgusting.
That seemed unnecessary.
Oh no, it's necessary. I hate. It's not that I hate A&M. It's not that I hate that they're just
You have to
so
say you hate them though.
yeah, but they're so awful to watch. Like it makes me not want to watch. Like it makes me feel like I'm a football hater with how much I hate watching them play the game of football. It ruins it for me. But anyways, I digress. I like Texas Tech plus 9.5. I think it's a lot of points. TCU, we keep saying is due to eventually, potentially lose a game here. It's also maybe a look ahead spot at Texas, or at least against Texas next week on ABC primetime. So I like Texas Tech with the points. I like the over 61.5 in Baylor, Oklahoma. Never would have thought this game wouldn't be on national TV, but it isn't.
Yeah, it's on ESPN Plus. I saw it this morning. I was gonna send it to you.
like
but you know, I guess.
like heading into this year, I would be like Baylor, Oklahoma, not on national TV. Like that's just crazy to me. But nonetheless, I'll stick with the Big 12 over 61.5. I already said Georgia -8. I like Michigan State plus 16.5. It feels like you got to take them. I feel like they have their own issues going on, but I feel like the players will get up for them. And I also
I think they have
Illinois,
8 guys suspended.
it could be their 8 best players. I don't think it mattered in this game.
Okay.
I think
It
Illinois
could be their 8 best players, and you don't care.
Yep, I wouldn't care.
They're 8 best players from a team that won't make a bowl.
That isn't
Continue.
good. Exactly. That's why it doesn't. That's why I think it's irrelevant. Their best players aren't that much better than their shitty players. So,
Whatever.
and I
Fair
also
enough.
What team was this? I wasn't paying enough
Michigan State.
attention.
Michigan State.
Because the
okay.
brawl last week.
But yeah. And I
Or
also
the
don't-
assault, actually, that took place.
Yeah, allegedly. I also think
Alleged,
that
yeah.
Illinois thinks they're hot shit being all the way at 16 when they're, they should never be ranked 16th or higher. They're just not. They're not football. Like that. I don't
Such a
think
hater today.
I am a hater today. I mean, I hate the Astros, so I hate. I'm a hater. That game's my lock. Bama, I said 13.5. I said Kansas State plus 2.5. I said Clemson minus 3.5. I like the over 54 in Wake versus NC State. That game's also not on national TV. I don't believe, which is interesting. 2 ranked ACC teams. And then I like Cincinnati minus 19.5 against Navy, even though they did not look that great. They kept it close. They're not ranked anymore. They don't have the pressure. They'll be back at home. I think Navy just flat out is that bad, even though I don't think Cincy's that good, but Navy's that bad apparently. Sorry to the troops. I still respect them, but got to take Cincy in the spot here. And yeah, I have my lock after that.
All right, so I know what it is. Bang.
You definitely
actually, I'll go. Tulsa plus 7.5 against Tulane. Tulane's gonna fall flat eventually. I think it'll be here. Temple plus 3.5 at home against South Florida. There's just a horrible game, and Temple, like if there's a game they're gonna win, it'll be this one because South Florida's like 2-7, they're 1-6 or whatever the records are. You can you throw out the records when these two teams play each other. Pitt minus 3.5 at home against Syracuse. Something interesting. I don't know if you guys saw this. So after Syracuse got to 6-0, Dino Babers was asked how he feels about getting to 6-0, and his answer was, "Well, at least we're bowl eligible," which kind of just tells you everything you need to know about Syracuse. And you saw it when they just got their teeth kicked in last week against Notre Dame. The one thing that Pitt does well is run the ball, and Syracuse doesn't stop the run at all. We saw it last week. We saw it against Clemson. We've seen it every game this year. So Pitt should actually play well this game and win. They've had fourth quarter leads the past couple games. Hopefully they hold on in this one. James Madison plus 7.5 at Louisville. Been on Louisville the past 2 weeks, and they got like 8 turnovers last week against Wake Forest in a win. Probably a letdown because that was a top 10 win. JMU, I'm kind of betting this, hoping Todd Centeio plays. He hasn't played in a couple games, but I think they're better than what this line says. In that same vein, under 52.5, Louisville, if they're flat, offense won't be playing well. Keep that under. New Mexico plus 16.5 at Utah State. Utah State shouldn't be 16.5 point favorites over any team in college football, so I'll be taking New Mexico there. Kansas plus 2.5 at home against Oklahoma State. This is a trap line. I don't think there's a huge difference between Jason Bean and Jalen Daniels. I always get him and Jaden Daniels confused. The offense just kind of hums regardless, so they should be able to stay with him in Oklahoma State. Oh, it's actually kind of funny. The polish is off, the bloom's off the rose with Kansas, and it's still on with Oklahoma State. So the Oklahoma State's now the team that I'm after. I was after him last week and then after him again this week on Kansas. Wisconsin, Maryland under 50.5. Georgia Southern +4. Penn State, Indiana under 50.5. This kind of feels like a Penn State flat spot too, which I think hurts the offense. And they're a run first team anyway, so hopefully we can keep this under. That game should have gone under last week, by the way, also. Bama -13, we talked about. And Louisiana Monroe money line, it's like -110 against Texas State. This is kind of getting steamed towards Louisiana Monroe, so chasing that. And then I just have my lock. Ben, you can take it away.
So tonight I've got App State -3 at Coastal. I'm not sure if this game is
That's
being played yet.
tomorrow. That's tomorrow,
It's
and also
tomorrow.
I'm adding that. I am betting
Oh,
that game.
shit,
I bet
today's
that
Wednesday,
matchup every year.
not
I
Thursday.
add that.
My bad.
I will
Um,
I'll put -3 for the card, but I'm probably just going to take the money line. But I've out of principle only -130 and under money lines. I'll add to my card.
Washington, Wazoo. Oh no, this is Washington. Washington -4.5 versus Oregon State. Air Force -7.5 at Army. Respect both teams. I just think Air Force is the better triple option this year. TCU -7.5 versus Texas Tech at home. Texas Tech is bad on the road. If this was at Texas Tech, I'd probably pick Texas Tech to win.
Go tear the
Missouri.
goalpost down.
Yes. Missouri +1 versus Kentucky. This is a trap. Missouri's going to win this game outright. Texas A&M -3.5 versus Florida. Vodtech -3 versus Georgia Tech in the Tech showdown of the ACC. Tennessee +8 at Georgia. Kansas +2 versus OK State for everything Chuck said, trap game. UAB outright versus UTSA at home. Little bit of a night game, I think, like 7:30 maybe, based on where it is on my sheet. Good environment in Alabama, yeah. Alabama -13.5 at LSU. Texas -2.5 at Kansas State. Clemson -3.5 at Notre Dame. And SMU -3 versus Houston. And I'll just say my lock right now. Call me a homer. Pitt -3.5 versus Syracuse.
There it is.
Home favorite against a ranked opponent. It's just this is a big ass play on Saturday for me.
All right.
Fair
Fair.
enough. Yep. You can guess what it is. I don't care with the trap. I'm going against you guys. Oklahoma State -2.
Oh,
Uh,
no.
I thought you were about to say fuck.
Don't
I
care.
thought you were about to say Pitt too.
I didn't even say Syracuse.
No. I think Gundy laid into these guys all week. There's just no way that he didn't you can't come out flat again. They cannot lose this game. I generally don't think they can lose this game. And if they win this game by 1, I will jump into the Delaware River. But they cannot lose this game. Like Gundy,
You're just
I
sour
just
about
can't.
Kansas.
What?
You're
It could have
just
been
sour
anyone.
Kansas beat you.
Honestly, I don't think the matchup. I don't even care that it's Kansas or whoever it would have been. I would have hated to be West Virginia in this game because then I'd been like, well, this is done. But I just don't see Oklahoma State losing this game. I just can't.
I'm not taking the parlay because of you, Ferry.
That's fine.
My lock of the week is the University of Notre Dame. So
Oh,
Mm.
I'm definitely not taking the parlay.
here's so I think it has been. I think when you look at this game, you see number
This is a
5.
home. Could you just preface this by
What?
saying this is a homer pick?
It's not a homer pick.
Okay.
The number 5 team in the country in Clemson going to Notre Dame, only laying 3.5 points, has to be the easiest bet ever, because Notre Dame lost to Marshall. But when you look at both teams' resumes, you'll see that Notre Dame does in fact lose to inferior teams. However, they get up for all their big games. They had the longest lead against Ohio State this year. They smoked North Carolina on the road. They smoked Syracuse last week on the road. They beat BYU on a neutral site. There's not a huge difference in talent between these two teams. They both mirror images of each other, shaky quarterback play, great defenses, great running games. Think this is close, think it's low scoring. Clemson, their one road test this year, it took DJ Uiagalelei heroics to beat Wake Forest. Notre Dame's a much tougher place to play than Wake Forest, and this is going to be like an old school, just a lot of running. Whichever quarterback makes one more play, I think Notre Dame keeps it inside of 4. I think they win the game. And save college football because Clemson does not belong on the same field as Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio State, and Alabama. One last thing of why this is my lock. As of betting this game right now, the spread opened at 3.5. It's now mostly back down to 3.5. 70% of the bets are on Clemson against the spread, 83% on the money line. Why would Notre Dame even show up? They're fucked. They're fucked. No one's giving them a shot. Notre Dame stays inside the number here.
Besides you.
It's just me. Notre Dame stays inside the number. If it was that, and at this point in the season, it's November. Vegas isn't out here making mistakes with spreads. It's set like this for a reason. I feel the same way about this game as Kansas. It's a trap. Don't fall into the trap with Clemson. That was my impassioned speech for my lock.
I'm gonna bet Clemson, but thanks. You almost swayed me.
That is square of you.
I got 2 traps, a square, and it's kind of a homer pick for me as well, just because I don't like Notre Dame that much. Like just because of my hatred.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
The pit.
Go Phils.
Go Phils.